All right, let's jump into it. Where we at? Friday, end of the week, end of yet another week, and 21st of February, 10 to 11. Look, I'll start off with gold because this is really where the movement in the market is at the moment. Everything else has just seemed pretty dead, like FX market wise. I got a mate that's trading equities, and that's just an absolute sort of mind numbing sort of thing. Actually, I'll just show this just to save sort of dragging the screen across. This is this is SB 500 at the moment, and it is just like I mean, just range. Like take out the highs, take out the lows, take out the highs. I mean, there was a good little trade here yesterday, and I was saying to them like, this is the sort of band and that just sort of like fade these moves. But of course, it's pretty hard to try and sort of fade some of these moves when you see that that's the biggest move they've had all week, and I think it was about 40 points or something. But the rest of it's been sort of like 5 or 10 point ranges. Can't really sort of trade that sort of stuff so much. Anyway, so look, gold obviously is all-time highs. This is where it's getting a bit of the action. Last night we saw a pretty quick little sort of sell-off. Aussie's getting a little bit of movement at the moment as well, which is hitting into price targets, which I'll get to in a moment. But gold, great place to start. So yesterday I was sort of saying, let's get onto the lower time frame. That this was the levels that I was looking for. These two through here. Um, I said, look, if we get above here, then you're probably looking at least at a test of the all-time highs. And obviously we got to that and it just charged all the way through. Interesting where it stopped actually, just sort of clipping into this second price target. So if we put on the larger time frame, you can see why we've got this price target up here. Look, I traded this one here to the lower level on that, which is obviously sort of hit the price target, sold down, and now it's powered on a little bit further. My price target from this little move here came from this part of the triangle. The one that we hit overnight came from this part of the triangle here. So I think potentially sort of like it could be sort of either one that's kind of valid with it all. I always sort of try to err on the side of caution and that, and sort of make sure you get those fills. So there's no point trying to squeeze out the extra couple of bucks. Although in this case, because this is daily time frame, and a couple of bucks here are literally that sort of like 40 buck moves on gold up to the top side. But if we get back down on the lower time frame and we have a look at sort of a couple of these other areas in which we've had these price targets. So this is going back sort of I don't know, 2 3 weeks or so, and I had this sort of price target here. As I said, look at what I mean. I'm happy to go on the side of caution. Took it out. That's all right. Actually hit that measured move of this little um, sort of flag through here, and then powered came down, and then powered on and dragged up through the top and that. So look, even if this was there to the sort of measured move of this one, obviously mine wasn't, it was a little bit lower, but even if it was up to this measured move here, hit the measured move, sold down, had a second effort, drag in a few more, like a few more longs, maybe sort of stop out the early people that go, okay, price target, yeah, price is going to reject and that. Boom. So like these kind of sort of moves are typical of when you're sort of seeing some sort of level of correction. And it doesn't matter if it's on a high time frame or a low time frame, price structure and price action can be very like sort of repetitive. So what we're potentially sort of seeing with this is those price targets that I just mentioned a second ago, whereas we're on the sort of higher time frames in that now. This is the first price target. It's come down, zipped up, taken out all those highs, hit the second price target up here. So it's an interesting area in which sort of like, we're hitting the price targets, failing, and it keeps recovering, keeps recovering. Look, it's still in mad sort of bullish mode at the moment, but I do believe we are getting to at least a bit of a medium term top. I've been saying this, I was shorting it last night. It was a great trade last night actually. Sort of it dropped about sort of I think 30 bucks in just a couple of minutes. Let's get onto this other chart because I did put this up on X at the time. Oh no, that's not that one. This chart here. This negative divergence that I called just up the top over here. I think we're around the sort of mid 40s or so at the time. And as you can see, came all the way down to 23. Did a body fill. If you watch what I do, I'm a big fan of body fills as targets. This is obviously moving up here, bang, slam down here, and that's exactly where it is. So like people that sort of go, okay, no, you got to hit the sort of the area with the wicks. Well, you know, you can't determine anywhere in the wick because anywhere in the wick is like it's bounce, bounce, bounce kind of thing. Body candles and the like sort of as in this case here, the body fill, that is a great target, and it shows up time and time again with a lot of these sort of things. So anyway, we sort of hit that, and then obviously market sort of bounced back up. But if you look on a lower time frame, this is the kind of move that we saw coming through to it. As I said, this is put all these sort of things up as we were doing. We broke through this level here. I mean, it doesn't show the. It's a bit going back and forth with the two charts here, but you know, previous highs just this light through here. Spent a bit of time around here, start of Europe, and then obviously started to come back down. So going back and forth through the charts, but you can see this hourly little support coming up here, and this is what I was saying yesterday. You need to sort of once these things break, you do need to respect it a little bit. You can get extra flare-ups like we have sort of seen back here. Comes up, tests underside, then we get our sell down. But generally, once that's broken, you can expect a little bit of a sell down, whether it comes sort of, you know, as quickly as this or whether it, you know, ratchets up another couple of things and then sort of stops out these people here, then comes down. It's all possible. So it's just something, and this is the reason I was sort of shorting through this period through here. Look, it would have been great if we got this complete meltdown coming down over here, but that's, you know, and I mean, I'll sort of get the positions and line it up, and I'm like, oh wow, you know, put it down here. Here's my price targets. This is great. Uh, Long story short, or I should say, spoiler, I don't hold to go all the way down, and because I'm here to make money. You know what I mean? There's different styles, and I've got a lot of people to say to me, "Oh, you know, buy and hold," and that's great. I mean, if that works for you, really happy for you, and I hope it really works, and I hope you make a lot. But for me, a move like this very much pays, and I'm not greedy. I'm happy to sort of just go bang, 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 bang. I think I got off at 30, 31, 30, no, 31, 29, 28, 27, and 25 or something like this. So all through this wick down here. And of course, as you can see, bang, rejects right back up 46. I mean, that's a decent bounce. It's 23-point bounce back up to the top side there. And interesting actually as to sort of where those candles close, because if we have a look here, it actually closed up inside this little potential channel. So it doesn't have so much of a sort of recognition of the top half here, but certainly got a couple of touches for this sort of rising support here. And brings me to the other point that once this does break and closes outside here, if we get a close on, this is on the 4 hour, like underneath these lows here, I think this is going to be your early sign here. If you get a close under here, Wicks obviously is a bit of a thing here, but first touch into it, get your reaction. Second touch into it, this is going through. So if we get a close down at this point here, I think that's what we're looking at. And I'm ready to short it. I think this is just, you know what I mean? It's had a lot of shots up here. Look, this could just ratchet on and go up here. Team 3000, boom, boom, boom. But at the same time, I think, and I've been saying this to a mate as well, I think the buy the dippers, which have been very good, as I said yesterday. I mean, you buy the dip at any stage through this year, you've made money, provided you haven't sort of had too stupid a position and just been blown out. But point is, if you've bought the dip this year, you've made money. That's fine. A lot of people fall into that false sense of security, and they go, "Yeah, sweet man, buy the dip, boom, profit. Buy the dip, boom, profit." There's going to be one point where it'll drop. It may sort of look to move a little bit, and then it'll drop again. And people will be like, oh, I bought the dip. Oh, it dropped down. Oh, great, I got it even cheaper. I'll buy that dip. And it'll drop again. And that'll feed a move that can potentially, you know, get back down into the 2800s. I mean, that's only 40, well, I say only, but that's $40 off now. But I would say, yeah, 2880s, like start of the, I mean, that's where, excuse me, that's where we were at the start of the week, remember? 2892. So it's not sort of like, oh my God, you know, we're not saying, I mean, look at this. This is on a weekly. I mean, anybody that knows trading knows that this is not a sustainable move like this, particularly with this large wick that we had last week. large wick doesn't mean that it's dead, and obviously as we've seen that, it's still put in a whole new high up here. But what if this does come down here and sells down, and we get a double top of wicks up here? It's called a pincer top, where it's just two long wicks at the top over here. Well, then people are going to start to be calling sort of some little pullbacks and that. And, as we can see with this chart here, we're not there yet. Let's change this to an up one. Let's say they want to burn some of these by the dippers, right? I mean, you could see 2,800 and still be at the 38% of just this move. That's pretty crazy. That's 140 bucks or 130 bucks back down to the 38%. Should this be another little pin here? Yeah, I mean, again, this is forward thinking and that. Maybe we just charge through and maybe we go up to here. I mean, I heard some people sort of call it 3,200, or I don't know how they've got that sort of, how they've got that level. Maybe something like this or something. I mean, even that only gives you 3082. So I don't know how people call them 3,200, but whatever. I mean, those kind of predictions of say, yeah, it's going to 3,200. Well, okay, whatever. Look, it probably will. But what I'm looking for is potentially something like that to go to 32, if it's going to go to 32. You know what I mean? So anyway, back to what we're actually doing here. Let's get rid of this. So let's just keep it on the weekly. Um, Current interval only. Bang. All right, let's go back. So, where are we at the moment? So, look, it is still not really seeing any sort of love in terms of the buying pressure in that. So, we are seeing this looking a little bit weak. Close underneath 29.30. You definitely look to sort of test this 22 level. You get down underneath here. I think that's your move down here. And I would imagine it's a pretty quick move down to 90s. So, I'm going to put a little price target through this area here. This is where we're going to be sort of aiming for should we break underneath 20. Where's that price target? Sort of about mid 90s, 28.95 ish. And that's only just based on the fact that this is where we got this little move up here. Again, body fill for this, I feel, is probably an area where we could see a little bit of support that was obviously through this area here. And we could expect some reaction here. And as I said, the way that I'll trade is, bang, I'm not interested in getting to here and then holding through a bounce back up 20 bucks and then going again. Like, if anything, you take your profit there. If it comes back up here and you come in to retest the underside here, we'll just have another go and make this area again. So, I mean, each their own with their styles, but that's what I'm looking for. And, I mean, look, first things first, we got to get under 30. So that's a 10 buck drop. And sort of see what they do with these sort of buy the dippers, see if they can sort of teach them a bit of a lesson for a little bit. Because the thing is, it works for a long time till it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work in a big way. So let's see if that's coming through now. Flip across, we've got Aussie moving right up towards that big price target. And remember, the price target here is the measured move of this channel. Now, this is something that I cover a lot with these things, these channel breaks. And like I said, with that move before, look, if I'm going back and forth between charts here, I'm going to the 1 hour. Channel break, like this is a smaller time frame, but the point's still the same. Maybe not so much of a channel, was it? I guess you could call that a bit of a channel. Broke it, back test, underside, higher than these levels here. Now, if you flip this upside down, break the channel, back test, below those points, well, above, but I flip the chart, and then it moves off. If we look at Aussie, similar stuff. So here's the break of the channel, back test, below all these levels here, burnout, like, you've got two areas in which you can expect a back test of these things. Very rarely, I would say almost never, break and completely sort of run up this way. They'll sort of break. They'll either back test the breakout level. As you can see here, it tried it, and then poof, shot down, really hammered and exploded back up. That was that Monday where we had some sort of like stupid headlines or whatever. But we've seen that break. The measured move, which is the depth of this channel, whoops, which is the depth of this channel that we sort of went with the whole way down here. That depth from the initial breakout point gives us 64.16, which is very much in line with the 38% retracement, which, obviously is also coming into this little wiki area, bit of a heavier support area, a bit above, about 30, 40 points above that. But, there's a couple of reasons why you could see this as a little bit of an area where market might be taking profit. Now, I did cover this. I did put it on X yesterday because this was the trade that I was looking for. And it was absolutely hectic with the headlines and everything. And as you can see, the idea here was to come back down here and then sort of take off, get some longs down in this buy zone. Potentially, if this really melted down, sort of get down to these buy zones would have been even better. But it came here, tipped this actual sort of grey zone, no fill though, which is very frustrating for me because I have been calling this 64 price target. I've been trading I've been trading Aussie long for way way too long. Even when I was wrong, I was still trading Aussie long. But these whole points through here, the little ranges, all these kind of things. So certainly last couple of weeks and that sort of through this period here. And to miss this last little move here was very frustrating. So if we have a look, and this is what I was sort of saying that look, I could see actually where was it? It was on the daily that I was calling out. This is literally the video from yesterday was I could see this rolling over here, come down here, and then punch up a big massive one. And it's exactly what happened. So, pat on the back for the analysis, low points for the execution, and, management, well, I didn't even give it a shot. So, yeah, management, I'd probably give that a pass fail as well. Pass fail? Well, just a fail. Yeah, nothing there. Maybe NA. So, look, we are getting up into an area where, I'm not the only one looking for these price targets. If we have a look on maybe the 4 hour, we can see a little bit more. See body fills of this area over here, hence why I have that. Plus comes in line with that measured move price target. So, look, up above 64, I'm surprised it actually popped up here. We did have a couple of comments from Bullock this morning, which I'll see if I can just call up. Very profound of RBA there. News comes quite quickly, of course. So, arguably, Reserve Bank was late raising on the way up. Of course, they were. Board aware of long variable lags policy. Couple of comments. Anyway, point being is the market sort of took it as a little bit of a sort of a hawkish kind of thing and kind of took off a little bit. Where we go back onto the Aussie, and you can't see it on the 4 hour so much, but you can see here and then bang, shot up here. So look, we are getting up into that sort of area where you could expect to see some profit taking. Profit taking will obviously then have it sort of moving back down. So look, if I could get a retest of maybe around the 70s, maybe a bit of overshoot to the 60s. I would like to have another go and really sort of get up into this area here. Very close to that price target, but doesn't mean we're going to hit it straight away. Could very much pull back and then sort of reload and go through there. We did have a bit of a resistance around the 75 area, which obviously we had marked from way back here. So that obviously played its part. We very much, like as I said, the whole week FX wise has been pretty quiet. I mean, look, it's tradable ranges, like particularly for what I do, I'm going in and out. But certainly there's been just, I mean, that's just sideways grind through there. But yeah, it was an interesting sort of move yesterday. We had strong jobs numbers, which again, every time they sort of spam 20K, like, I mean, they just, whatever, just say it's 20K this month. They're never right. It was like 45 or something like this. And then we had DXY have a little bit of a spurt to close a morning gap. That gave us the sell back down. And then we had comments coming out saying, oh, yep, excuse me, that China and the US could potentially make a deal. And Aussie loves China positive news and loves a good deal. And so, yeah, we saw it sort of take off and it really just kept on running. And then it was like, pretty much the driver through all this was just the ticks, the multiple ticks. So you sort of think, look, strong local data was the employment numbers, uh, weak US dollar is another mover, positive China data. That's why we got the move. Bang, bang, bang. And for Aussie to move like it did, like we moved, I think, over 1% or so yesterday, little measurer. But from the lows, to about here, 1.2%, 75 points. Hence my frustration to miss this by a couple of points. Yes, I could have just jumped on here, but anyway, whatever. There's always another trade. That's the name of the game. So yeah, as I said, moving up here, um, see what happens through this point here. If we get onto any sort of thing, we can maybe drag this up through here and see it's sort of flirting a little bit with a little temporary rising support. It's obviously broken down, pushed back up, hanging around over here. So I think take out this wick. I'm surprised the 90s didn't hold because 90s are always a bit of an area for Aussie. But I would say a little zone just underneath here, underneath this wick. This is what I'll be looking for to sort of say, okay, we might be getting a little bit of a coolback, cooling off. So down here, if I can, I'd like to sort of buy probably around a retest of this area here. So just pop this through here. I do this every day. I should be able to find them straight away. So maybe the buyers. I can't remember which one I use. Buy zone. Bang. Cool. So yeah, that's where I'd like to sort of get long if possible. And that gives us a retest of this sort of wiki area over here. Also a little bit of a support on that sort of first little sort of back test. Through this little move from the lows here, say this were to be the top, just over the 38, sitting around the 50% retracement. I think that's, if we could get down here to have a buy at this zone, I think that would sort of give us a pretty good risk reward to then potentially sort of, as I said, really target that that major high time frame measure move price target, should we not just sort of charge through to it now? If we charge through to it now, well then I might sort of hold off on this plan. But if I can buy something down here for a move up to up over here, I think that's a pretty good little target. So we'd be looking roughly around 50 points or so, provided where it sort of comes up into that area, give or take a couple of points, of course. All right, DXY. Oof. I was like, oh, hold on, mate. Like I put this up last night, I'm like, and it did. It looked very. If you look at this on a low time frame, look at how just very meticulous this is, and then a little bit over, a little bit under, and then sort of what time it was about? Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. It just broke this and just came right down here. So I think we actually may have taken out Friday's lows. Oh yeah, clearly. Yeah, bang. So there we go. So that was the break. And we can see that this little rising support, that was the sort of the area, the key one here. So the bounce provided just through this move here, 38%, strong continuation one. And as I said, it closed the gap, or pretty much sort of closed the gap within like a point or whatever, yesterday morning, and then just did not look back really, and just bang. And as you can see, once it started to pick up, it really started to pick up down here. So we're coming into potentially a bit of the support area. So this was the target area, 105.80. Gives some change. This is a strong support we can see back here, which is what actually launched us all the way to the top over there. It's a little bit no man's land in terms of fibs and that, but I think that's not so bad. But I think sort of certainly this is due. I mean, you're so close to this move right now, to sort of see this sort of come down. You've broken the lows, and remember, this is how we work. We sort of get down, we move back up, we target those lows. Okay, we broke down. We find support, we move back up, resistance, where support was, target the lows, move back down. It starts again. Now I've made a new low. Now it's dependent on where and how far down this goes to find support and then to move back up. So overall, I am looking for a potential sort of head and shoulders on a higher time frame. So I do believe once we hit this area, we're going to see some more sort of sustained US dollar buying, which will potentially sort of bring Aussie back down to 63 cents. I mean, it could go under 63 cents again. I mean, it's 100 points. It's moved. I don't know, what did we hit at the low? 60. We got under 61 for sure, I'm pretty sure. But we could see gold coming off through this period. We could see Aussie pull back to 63 cents through this period. It doesn't mean that US dollars going all the way back up over here. I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking this big head and shoulders, which ends up with our price target down here at 101. But as I said, that's fine. We could trade these periods through, before we get to that level, of course. So, look, here and now, today, interesting to sort of see where it opens up, which we've got half an hour or so. Have a quick check of the news, because yesterday I got caught off guard missing. Actually, I don't know why I didn't know that employment data was coming out. So, yeah, we got Bullock speak this morning. So Trump's speaking in 4 minutes. Okay, so this could get market moving a little bit. So I may have to sort of pause on things depending on sort of how the market moves there, even with DXY not online. And that's about it. We got PMIs and that a little bit through there. We had PMIs this morning for Aussie, a little bit up. We had revisions up and then a little bit up on what it was. Revised up. Revised up. I don't know why these aren't sort of shown as positives. But yeah, PMIs and that sort of through Euro session, not much through Asia, and then you got the US ones over here. So US actually, just on the note of data, had the Philly numbers out last night, came in very close to as expected, which is obviously on the weaker side, and it looks extremely weak when you look at last month's. But last month's, I remember, was a blowout. -16 expected to -5, and it came in at 44. Like, how is that a relevant number to anything that's been done here? And then you're back to 18. So I question that number's any sort of legitimacy, but we'll see how we go. So yeah, back onto DXY. We'll see how this goes. See what happens with Trump speaking. Look, any sort of move up, I think will sort of be sort of capped at least short term by 105.67. You get back above that, this could be a little bit of a fake out area. But as I said, I think maybe you could see a little bit of a move up before we sort of dribble down, something to sort of this effect. But again, I'm still targeting, as I have been for the last couple of months or so, 105.80 as the main sort of price target through there. Flip across, what we have? Silver. So silver, look, it's charging. It definitely is trying to move up here, but as we can see, it's really, these latest little pushes coming in a little bit weaker. Took out the highest, massive recovery from that break yesterday, 2 days ago. Came right up here. That is a charge. So this was the call yesterday. We're in this little range here. This is 1 hour here, and it's very interesting. Sort of, if you look at this on a 1 hour, it obviously closed outside and then reversed and just went whoop all the way up here. So look, you could definitely see this dragging in some shorts and then ripping them apart up to the top side here. Luckily, I didn't get caught in that camp. I started shorting like up the top over here. Where was it? Yeah, before that, like big sell down. So a couple of good shorts up around this area. But what was I say? So one little takeaway from this is the close size. So this is one thing, mainly probably for my sort of benefit. But if we take that body to that body there, and have a look, is it only 3 points? Yeah, it's 3 points. It's a very weak close. So I think you want to see at least sort of 5 or 6. I mean, look, even that's probably pretty weak in that, but at least 5 or 6 point close below, just to sort of confirm it a bit more. So close down here. So maybe that's some level we could say if it closes underneath 5, potential for it to just sort of bounce back in. So you want a decent solid close. So again, these levels here closed underneath, boom, back up, boom, coming down here. But to me, what I'm sort of paying attention, yeah, you've got the buyers coming through here, but you've got this little angle, I suppose, through here. I think if you get down underneath 80, in close again in the 80s, I think this could be a little bit of a roll over here. We'll see how we go. But yeah, at the moment, to me, it's a bit wish-washy. We had these really strong sell downs. I think gold's getting near a bit of a pullback. I think silver could be following suit with it. So I'm going to hold fire on silver just for now. All right. Keep moving along. We've got copper. So Trump's talking now, so presumably. We've got copper sort of trying to sort of get up off that 38. Let's jump onto a more decent time frame. As you can see, it's sort of very much trying to get up over here, but it's very quickly sort of finding a little bit of resistance in that. Not that this is a major zone, but you did have like some little levels through here where it tried to support it on the way up. This could just be those people selling down. You go through here again, then we're looking for potential for the right shoulder or continuation back up. But I think basically that's your level there. So it's quite a wide one, but as I said, at the moment, I'm not really looking to do too much with copper. I'd like to buy it lower. That's pretty much where I'm at. Breakout box here. This little area that it's in at the moment, again, littler, sort of smaller kind of areas. Resistance, managed to break through, found resistance, I expected, previous support, even though it's a small one, did act as a resistance, moving back down. You want to hold this area here now. You want to make this your little sort of playground if this is going to break up to the top side. Because remember, this is your range. You'll have a midway point. Midway point's probably more like that, but whatever, we'll just chuck it here for now. You want to sort of see this push back up here. If this comes back down over here, as I said, I think this is still, that's the general direction. I haven't used this one before. That's the general direction. So it puts this in your targets and then a potential break, which is fine. As I said, look, Aussie cooling off, could see that happening. If I get the buys down here, I'll be happy for that. We'll see how we go. And finally, China, really, 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 really smacked down. Come on, I mean, you just got to pretty much call that. So this is the big sort of price target area down here. Taken out all those lows, it got absolutely walloped yesterday with, that China making a deal. I mean, the market loves it. China making a deal and getting along with the US is good for everybody. It's good for the Aussie. It's good for, China itself. It just means less geopolitical tension. So, you would have thought maybe equity markets would have liked that, but you've got the other stuff going on with Zelensky and Trump at the moment as well. This guy's like fighting on every front. This little sell down here, I put this fib in yesterday, perfect, like sort of like to the cent, or well, it's not even to the cent, to the thousandth of a cent or whatever we have here, 61%, which is a great level. And bang, it got absolutely hammered. So coming down so fast, you could see some sort of bounce and bounce, like sort of, you've taken out the lows here. You could see this push up here. Hence why I would say that, we could sort of see a little bit of a push up in US dollar. Obviously, one also isn't part of DXY, but you could see that as a broad-based sort of buying. See a little bit of a push up with the US dollar, at least just in the short term, before rolling over and coming back down. But yeah, certainly all over the shop. We can get rid of this because it's kind of irrelevant through here. Very big swings through here though. So I think any kind of upside here is going to be limited. I don't think you're going to come back up over here, V-shaped recovery kind of status. I mean, we've seen some of these moves. Look at these sell downs and bang, moving all the way back up like this. So look, it can be done, definitely. We'll just have to see if they catch on. It's oversold. This is on the 4 hour. It's worth a little bit of a push up here, which, as I said, will put a little bit of pressure on Aussie. Aussie's at a level where you could expect to see a little bit of cooling as well. And this is what I keep talking about. This is cross-chart confluence. Things coming into sort of, they're not directly related. I mean, this is one and US dollar. You got DXY, which doesn't involve the Aussie. But they're all coming into their supports and the resistances and this kind of stuff about the same time. And that's the confluence cross charts. So through the different charts. Anyway, that's it from me, and yeah, we'll see how we go. So see if we can run the week out and that. All right, that's it from me.